Hi, everybody. Welcome to KUIU Live. It's Wednesday, May 21st, 10 o'clock Pacific time here in Dixon, California. I want to welcome everybody that's logged on, that's signed up. We've had another amazing response. And today's a really special day because KUIU has the opportunity to change an industry with some new technology that the Merino Company has given us the opportunity to be the first in the world to introduce. It's a technology called Nuyarn, and it's going to be what we use in all of our merino wool products going forward because it has some really significant advantages for our customer, for our market, and for the merino wool industry. And Wynne has graciously got on a plane, flown all the way from New Zealand because it's important for you guys and this technology coming to market and
Correct.
being the only company in the world that has this patented technology that we're introducing on your behalf. And I'm honored to have you here. Welcome.
Oh, well, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here, and I hope we'll have a fun session. Thanks very much.
Yeah, it's going to be great to have your expertise in explaining this technology because it's kind of hard to get your arms around. Easy when you wear it and
Yes.
feel the differences, but kind of hard to understand it. So Andy's going to get into some more of the technical aspects of Nuyarn. Again, it's an interactive process we have here today, so type in the questions. Patrick's going to consolidate some of the most commonly asked questions. We'll get to those. We're also giving away 3 sets of product today, so make sure you stay logged on. We'll announce the winners at the end. And if you order your Nuyarn products, your Ultra Merino products featuring Nuyarn today, you're going to get free shipping. And I don't anticipate this product going on sale anytime soon. Once people get it in their hands and are wearing it, it's going to create some intense demand for this product. At least everyone that has put it on has said the same thing, which is wow.
That's right.
And so take advantage of the free shipping. You can order it right here while you're watching or today from the website. So I want to say again, thank you. Great response from all over the world. And Andy, it's great to have you here. So maybe to start, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Merino Company.
Yes.
Maybe give us a little bit of background on the Merino Company and then take us into what Nuyarn is and the technology behind Nuyarn and why it's different.
So the Merino Company is born out of a company that is a historic wool trading company, 155-year-old wool trading company, and we've got many bows to our business.
Sure.
We've got spinning, which is the Nuyarn technology, which we'll talk about a little bit today.
Yep.
We've got a textile facility in Wynne in New Zealand, which has been around 52 odd years, which we don't think of as a textile producer, but we think of as a company of tailors. We've got a huge amount of research and development that goes on in that facility and have managed to bring a number of world-first technologies in the merino wool sector to the market. And we've got cut and sew facility in Ho Chi Minh City. So our company is a fairly a broad facility. We don't believe that all merino wool is equal.
Nor do I.
And so,
Attesting. Yep.
and so we really start at the farm gate and working with the growers to make sure that the micron that we buy is the best micron, that the blending of that product is critical and is key to the end result. So we make sure that when we, for instance, secure a 17.5 micron merino product for KUIU, that the band of micron up or down is very, very narrow. And if you make a comparison to merino wool 17.5 micron, you'd be.
So if I just said, hey, factory, I need 17.5 micron fabric, it's going to be different than what you guys supply us with. I know it is because I've tested it, but that's essentially what you're saying.
The situation is that in our industry, there are a number of people that are having a bad experience. And it's through ignorance, and when they're told that they buy a 17.5 micron, there might be 21 or 22 micron within that 17.5 micron.
Yep.
And it's that broader micron that essentially is the itchy, scratchy sensation that you have.
Yep.
So we don't believe all micron is the same, and all merino wool is the same, and we spend a huge amount of time and effort in making sure that the authentication of the process is managed all the way through from farm gate all the way through.
So all the
to
way
apparel.
through, you know the growers that are growing your sheep.
So
where
we-
they're coming from.
So we know which bales come off which farms. If
amazing.
that's your
Yeah.
your question.
And so you talk about Micron. I know
Yeah.
what Micron is, but I don't know that everybody knows what Micron is. And I think it's important because I've done a whole bunch of homework on
Yeah.
merino wool over the years, developing a product line with you. But just talk a little bit about Micron and what's important and what you should be wearing against your skin versus what you should be wearing as your second layer.
So there are a number of opinions out there, but personally, I would be saying that next to skin product shouldn't be any broader than an 18.5 micron.
Okay.
There are products in the marketplace next to skin at 20.5 micron, but it's not, in my professional opinion, it's not the right micron.
Because it's going to cause itch and irritation.
It will cause itch and irritation. That's right. And we've done some investigative work, taking a test that's done for the cosmetic industry, which puts product next to the skin and then measures the amount of redness on the surface of the skin.
Okay.
And that redness translates into irritation.
Okay.
And so when we use a finer micron, there's less irritation. And when we use a broader micron, like a 21.5 or 20.5 micron next to the skin, the color of the skin turns red. And so that's essentially saying that there's an irritation.
Okay. And we talk about 17.5 micron. Why not just do 13 micron or a 12 micron or a 15 micron? If smaller is better, why don't we go smaller?
Well, I think that 17.5 micron, to put it into perspective, is similar to cashmere. So our ability to source 17.5 micron is like finding hen's teeth. So it's a challenge.
Not every sheep produces a 17.5
No,
micron.
and it's a challenge, and so that's why we've had to become really creative with you and put lengthy forecasts together so that we know what you think you're going to be consuming, when you're going to be consuming it, so we can make sure that we're securing that from the growers on farm in the right period of
So
time.
17.5 micron is not necessarily easy to find. I know that we pay a premium for it,
Correct.
and not everybody runs it because it is so expensive.
That's right. And let's talk a little bit more about the premium.
Okay.
So KUIU buys a Nuyarn product from us.
Yep.
That is scoured. So it means we take the wool off the sheep's back, we put it through a scouring process, which means we take out the imperfections, the oils, etc., vegetable matter. We comb it, we card it, and then we put it through a superwash process, which makes it machine washable.
Yep.
We then recomb. And that recombing is an expense, but it's an advantage to the end product because it's less hairy, and we call that pilling. So it has a benefit of probably one micron. Of 1 point of how we measure pilling, which is on a Martindale test. So if you look at the wearer trials that you've done for Nuyarn, for instance, after 40 or 80 domestic launderings, the product is still looking like it looked when you put it on.
Yeah, we're not getting any pilling hardly.
And so, the durability of the product is improved.
Okay. So we at KUIU have spec'd, on your recommendation, a 17.5 micron. This is for our 125 and our 145, double combed, certified New Zealand merino wool.
That's correct, yes.
Which is unique.
Yes, it is.
And expensive.
It is. And at the same time, there's a lot of environmental policies and animal welfare processes that are put in place to make sure that on farm the animals are looked after and the social responsibilities of the farm are upheld, etc.
So Andy had sent me a Nuyarn wear trial shirt back in September, and I put it on. You said, wear it for a week and call me. I put it on for a day and called you and said, what do I have? Because it's different. And it's incredibly comfortable. I quickly jumped on a plane and flew to New Zealand. I wanted to go through and better understand what we were looking at, what we were dealing with. I went through their facilities with Nuyarn. You took me out to the farms. We saw how they grow the sheep. I got a full, immersed in merino wool at the
That's
New
right.
Zealand level,
Yes.
which is incredible. And then we went over to and met with the scientists
At Ag Research.
at Ag Research that has studied Nuyarn and took us through the advantages of Nuyarn. So I think it's be great to we've talked about the merino wool, we've talked about Micron, to take us into
Yes.
what Nuyarn is and why it's different, why it performs the way we say it does.
So to start at the beginning, conventional merino wool as we know it is the textile is produced with a ring spun product, which means that if the consumers have a look at this,
So this is a piece of yarn?
Essentially, if this was a piece of yarn, we would be twisting it for strength. Okay, and that's the conventional method of making yarn. And when you twist merino wool or yarns, for instance, with levels of twist, you get little fibers that stick out.
Stick out, sure.
And those create an added level of miscomfort.
But also cause itchiness.
It will add to it. And then also what happens is that it's a more of a rigid a yarn.
Sure.
So Nuyarn doesn't twist for strength. What we have with Nuyarn is we have a patented process that takes a core of yarn, and in the fabrics that we produce for KUIU, we use a very, very innovative, high quality, high performance nylon as the inner core. And then what we do is we place the fibers around that inner core by means of putting fibers around that nylon core by playing around and manipulating take-up tensions and drafting.
But we're not twisting.
But we're not twisting. So what you have is you have a yarn that essentially has absolutely no level of twist, and at the same time, all of the yarns that we produce are a two-ply yarn. So instead of being a single yarn going into a fabric, having a chance of breaking and then getting a hole, all of our yarns that we produce for KUIU are a two-ply yarn. And what this technology results in is a fabric and a garment that has huge points of difference when you compare it to conventional merino wool,
which is ring spun.
And so when we bought this facility and we started to push the boundaries of the technology, and we were pushing the boundaries of innovation, we quickly started understanding how huge some of the differences were. Our customers, and especially you, Jason, have been pushing me for the last 4 years to come up with the lightest weight fabrics in the world in merino wool. And the shortcomings are that because of the amount of cross sections in the yarn, we actually can't make a very stable 125 gram single jersey.
Well, we couldn't even get to a 145 single jersey without durability issues for our customers. We had to add in poly.
That's right. And so we added in polyester to give it some strength, but that's essentially not really where we want to be.
No.
So what we've been able to do is right the wrongs of merino wool. And in doing so, let's just understand what the difficulties are that the industry currently faces. And those difficulties are high levels of spirality when you're producing a lightweight merino jersey fabric for next to skin applications.
Lightweight being under 140?
Under 140, okay, down to 100 gram.
Yep.
You would have high levels of spirality, which essentially means that the garment twists.
It's uncomfortable,
You'd have issues with seam slippage, which means that the seams would tear and burst. And you'd also have a higher amount of pilling, which means that the fabric is essentially hairy. You're using a singles yarn, so your risk with a very, very fine yarn increases the risk of holes in the garment.
And I've tested those lightweight fabrics you've given to me in the past, and we just have never been able to take them to market because we just blew holes through them in field testing.
So I think to put things into perspective, what we did was we produced 4 fabrics, which were conventional ring spun merino products that we have historically produced and produced for yourselves. And then we produced like for like weights in Nuyarn. And we sent them to Dr. Stuart Colley at Ag Research, and we said to him...
And Ag Research is in Christchurch.
Ag Research is in Christchurch, and the reason that we used Ag Research is that they are extremely well-schooled and have extremely good testing facilities to test wool. And Dr. Stuart Colley is a textile scientist, and he's been testing wool for 25 years, and there's not much around merino wool that the gentleman doesn't know.
And this is a gentleman I met when
That's correct.
Took us through the testing.
So we gave him 4 fabrics, like for like, and we said, go to war. And so some of the tests that we undertook were to understand spirality, to understand the strength and what would translate into a strong yarn in order to achieve a seam slippage performance for the product. It was also very, very important for us to start understanding the bulk of the yarn, because as we're not twisting for strength, we're not essentially breaking that fiber down, and we've got a large amount of because we're not twisting for strength, we've got a large amount of bulk in the yarn.
Yeah, we're not compressing that fiber down.
Correct.
We're just pulling it along the nylon. Yep.
And as a result, there's a lot more aeration in the product. And as we know, one of the problems with merino wool in the past has been that it absorbs huge levels of perspiration, but then it doesn't know what to do with it.
Sure.
So some of the findings that came out of ag research were that it had 38% greater levels of bulk.
So you can do a loftier garment.
So you've got a loftier garment because there's more bulk in the yarn, and you've got more aeration in the yarn.
Okay, then that's what I found in testing.
That's right. If you stretch and recover the fabric, it's got 35% greater levels of elasticity. Now, that is significant because many scientists and many people who have studied wool put a direct correlation to elasticity and comfort. So the more the product has elasticity, the more it can mold around your body.
Stretch and recover, stretch and recover.
And in the past, the only way to get around that was to use Lycra.
Yep.
And
defeats the purpose.
Yes, correct, because it absorbs.
It's heavy and holds moisture and wears out over time.
And so the merino, the Nuyarn product has huge levels of elasticity, is able to stretch, but also regain.
Yep.
So if we stretch a Nuyarn fabric, here's a 120 gram merino wool fabric over here. And so this is a Nuyarn product. If we have a look at the elasticity of this fabric, we're able to stretch it about 2.5 times its natural length. And within 40 minutes, it will regain to 100% of its original length. And I mean, just so that the viewers can see, you can see that basically I've stretched this 2.5 times its original length, and it's pretty much come back into its original shape, which means that in performance apparel like hunting, where movement is critical, your apparel can move around the body, it can shape around the body, you won't get seam slippage, you won't get tearing, etc. But most importantly, it regains and then takes its shape back.
And one of the things that I do, and I know our customers love about merino wool, is we can wear a shirt for 10 straight days on a sheep hunt, never change it. But I've noticed in the past, if I push my sleeves up, the shirt will get saggy over time, so that's not going to happen with Nuyarn.
No. Probably the biggest point of difference is that the dry time.
And this is what I'm excited about, because you're right, the downside to merino wool is it's going to hold moisture.
That's right.
And it's going to hold it for a long time.
Correct. So it absorbs huge levels of perspiration, but then it doesn't know what to do with it.
Sure.
And so the technology of Nuyarn dries up to 5 times quicker than conventional merino wool.
It's amazing.
So because of the aeration, because of the bulk, etc., in the product, it dries 5 times quicker. And I think that is one of the most significant opportunities with this technology, not only in apparel, but also in socks. And we'll talk a little bit about socks. And the other really important factor is it's 25% warmer. And if you take the opportunity of Nuyarn and you take the bulk, the elasticity, the dry time, the warmth, the strength, etc., we can now start putting product into the marketplace not at 145 grams, but at 125 grams or even lighter to have the same performance criteria. So that means that your hunter consumer that is going to Alaska for 2 weeks, and weight is everything, to be able to take 125 gram or 145 gram as opposed to 185 gram makes a huge amount of sense. And not having to take 3 but take 2 because of the dry time and the durability and the performance of the product makes a huge amount of sense. So
it does. I mean, it fits what my vision is and what our mantra is of this brand, which is use technology and use design to reduce weight without giving up or increasing performance. And this is, spot on.
I mean, Jason, I think that one of the the most important things to mention with this technology is that this is a spinning technology which lasts for the life of the garment. This isn't a chemical application.
Which there's so many of those out
So
there.
there's so
Quick
many
dry
of them out
chemicals,
there,
yep.
quick dry, easy dry, whatever dry you want to
Yep.
call it, or, a lot of synthetics. And so, and after the consumer washes the product after the fourth, fifth time, it's goodbye
gone.
to the chemical, and it's just, a standard product.
Yep.
This is a spinning technology which is there for the life of the garment.
So essentially, Nuyarn is bulkier,
Yes,
stretchier,
yes.
dries 5 times faster, 25% warmer, and at a minimum 16% stronger. That's on 185 gram.
Correct.
But you even have bigger results on the lighter weights.
So if you take a 100-gram single jersey, which is really very light,
Yep.
and you compare it to a 100-gram ring-spun single jersey, it's 120% stronger. So the test that we showed you in Christchurch at Ag Research, when we made a seam with a 100-gram ring-spun conventional merino wool product, at 3 kilograms of torque, the seams burst. When we tested the Nuyarn product, at 13 kilograms of torque, the seams were still intact, but the metal clips were actually tearing the fabric. So, yeah,
The test is over.
was absolutely incredible to see that the authentication of the yarn was so good in that seam that there was no seam slippage or tearing.
Incredible. So the test results, Andy, you sent me the Ag Research certificates of testing. Those will be up on the website for you guys to review. I think what's important for me to get across to you guys is this isn't an opinion that it's better. It's scientifically
Correct.
proven that it's better. Like you said, you gave them swatches of fabric, comparable ring spun versus Nuyarn, test it, and these are the results. We had nothing to do with the laboratory results.
No,
The Merino
that's it.
Company didn't. This is truly independent laboratory tested, which
And I think, and there are also laboratories and laboratories.
Yeah.
And there are laboratories that test spirality, and there are laboratories that test various light fastness, color fastness, etc. There's very few laboratories around the world that are geared up to do extensive wool tests like Ag Research are.
Yeah.
And there are very few laboratories around the world that can tap into a gentleman like Dr. Stuart Colley's knowledge to be able to put forward these raft of tests, which are really outside the square tests, to really get into a zone of saying, look, this technology is so different, we can right the wrongs of merino wool, we can take this to the world at a level that they've never seen before, and this is why.
Sure.
Essentially what these findings translate into is, why would you wear anything else?
Well, I'm not. And in doing wear trial samples around here, we've given them to several people to wear. It's the only thing they'll wear now. In fact, they don't ever want to take them off. I've got to experience Nuyarn, and it's absolutely incredible. So what I'd like to do now is take you through some of the products. Now, most of you are familiar with our merino wool collection. We have obviously reduced the weights of the fabrics in the garments. So instead of a 230, you're going to find that it says on the website 210. Our 185 has dropped down to a 145 shirt, and which is Nuyarn, but you're going to see that it's lighter weight as far as fabric. And then our 145 has dropped down all the way down to a 125 gram shirt. We've also added a couple new features to the shirts and to the bottoms that I want to take you through really quickly. And the first innovation, which Andy introduced me to when I was over in New Zealand, was Islet Technology. And that's going to allow you to allow the garment to breathe better, control temperature better. And we zoned it through the side panels and underarms of the 125 shirts and the 145 gram shirts. We didn't do it in the 210 because that's a colder weather garment. And this is, as you move, these eyelets will open and allow airflow. So it's going to give you a little bit more comfort and more temperature regulation. And another product that I'm really excited to introduce, and I came up with this concept for zip-off base layer bottoms through our down garments, our super down pants. I found that the convenience of being able to zip on and off without taking off your boots was so significant. I built a base layer bottom a year ago and began testing it throughout last season and found that you don't notice the zippers there, but it gives you all the advantages of a zip-off bottom. And I know for myself and everybody that works here and that hunts, you always have that dilemma in the morning. Do I put on base layer bottoms and suffer through the middle part of the day, or do I just freeze in the morning and be comfortable in the middle of the day? And a lot of times I just won't put on my bottoms because of that. And this gives you the ability to quickly take them on and off. So when temperatures go up, you can just pull your attack pants down, drop the zippers down, pull these off, and you're in and out of your base layer bottoms within just seconds. And also you can zip down. If you don't get them off, you're on a stalk or you're making a move on an animal, you can just zip down and ventilate as well. So that's going to be a really nice added feature. These are going to be available in 145 and in the 210 weight. And as far as the rest of the garments, they're going to be the same or similar to what we had last year, other than everything will be made with Nuyarn going forward. And we will not use traditional ring spun yarn because of all the advantages of Nuyarn. And so kind of takes you through some of the changes and some of the differences from what we had in last year's and previous merino wool garments to what we have now. And I think that pretty much covers it. Is there anything else you want to touch on, Andy?
I'd just like to say that I'm hugely impressed with the speed in which KUIU and yourself have worked. From a prototype garment in September to launching today is a very, very quick process to go through a rigid wearer trial process and a development process, and there's been a lot of hands on deck to make it work, but it's really very impressive that you have the ability to take product to market so quickly.
Well, thank you.
And that is an accolade to you and your business, and we're just very, very proud to be a part of this. And
well,
you know, we since early days of KUIU, we see this business as a natural extension of ours. So happy to be here and to help with the innovative side of your business and the progression.
Well, one of the reasons why we're able to go to market so quickly is finding partners that produce nothing but quality, back up their product with laboratory testing and data that gives us the ability to have, without having to do years and years of testing, knowing that we're going to put to market something that's nothing but quality and that will deliver as promised. And I can't thank you guys enough for giving us the opportunity to take Nuyarn technology out to the market first and tell the world about it. And I just can't wait to start shipping.
That's very exciting for all of us.
Yeah, so right now, why don't we get into some questions, and then we're going to draw the winners at the end after we answer some of these questions that have come in. All right. So Tom Smith from Minnetonka, Minnesota. One thing I really like about 100% merino wool is odor control properties. I'm with you, Tom. With Nuyarn technology, is there any difference in odor control performance? I'll let you answer this.
In fact, because of the quick drying nature of the product, drying up to 5 times faster than conventional merino wool, it should improve. And so there would be no change. So Tom wouldn't see any difference in the product.
We didn't see any difference. No, if not, like I said, I thought it was actually even better.
Yeah. I think, Jason, it's also relevant, Tom's question in terms of odor, is to mention the socks that you'll be launching soon. You know, because Nuyarn dries up to 5 times quicker, because Nuyarn has the bulk, etc. You know, the opportunity to bring socks to the market that will be truly blister free and dry very, very quickly. We'll be able to put product in the marketplace that also rights the wrongs of many socks that are in the marketplace currently.
Yeah. Well, since you let the cat out of the bag, we are in the sock development. We will have samples here. I think they're arriving today from the New Zealand sock company that Andy sits on the board with, and it made a nice introduction to. It was the best sock producer in the world, really.
Very, very innovative sock producer, yes.
So let's go on to the next question. Richie Mangera from Bellevue, Washington. If I have a back order for old merino, will it replace the new stuff? And also, how long and how do the old weights match up to the new weights? So we covered the weight differences. I think, just to be clear, anybody that has the old merino on order will be upgraded at no additional charge to the Nuyarn product. In fact, because we made such a large commitment to the Merino Company, we have been able to pass on that bulk order savings to our customer. And like what we did with some of the Tory products this year, we have no price increase for Nuyarn. I want to thank you guys for working with us on that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I was able to pass on those savings to our customer. Let's go on to the next question here. I'm a big fan of lightweight merino, but find it less durable than synthetics. How tough and hole-proof is your product? And I'll let you get to that one.
So I think that once again, we're talking about a very, very lightweight merino fabric. In the past, not being that durable, huge levels of elasticity, huge levels of regain, much greater levels of tensile strength. I think that your consumers will be pleasantly surprised with the products that they buy in terms of the durability. And I think, just to say it again, after 40 domestic launderings with the wearer trials that we did at KUIU, those products still looked like they'd just come out of the bag.
Yeah.
So
they really have.
very, very durable, very, very well-wearing technology in Nuyarn.
Great. So C.W. McCaw from Hanford, Iceland. Your ads claim the new wool dries faster, is more comfortable, stronger, warmer, and has more stretch. What tests were performed to justify these claims? Are we able to see the test results somewhere? Thanks. Yes, like I talked about, all of our test results from Ag Research will be available on site as a PDF. Encourage everyone to click on it, read them. Again, this isn't an opinion. This is fact from independent laboratory testing that our Nuyarn performs better.
And I think, Jason, what's also important to mention is that we are updating those tests continually as we bring new technology, new fabrics to the market. So what we have today will be updated as we progress.
When will the product begin to ship, and what will be the price increase? So, like I mentioned before, we do not have a price increase for Nuyarn due to the large order that we placed with the Merino Company. And the product will begin to ship early June. We have it exiting the factory later this week. Customs is always the question mark, how fast it'll get through customs. And once you inbound it, we should be able to start shipping in early June. Brian Lyle from Pasco, Washington. I would like to know if there are any restrictions on the care of these garments. Are they machine washable? Is it safe to use commercial detergents on them? I'll let you answer this since you're the expert in wool.
So as a wool producer, we always suggest that you use a wool detergent.
Okay.
But yes, most definitely machine washable. They are they have a treatment in the process which makes them machine washable and very low levels of shrinkage. So yes, they are.
Great. Neil Jensen from Clovis, California. Do you have any socks in merino wool? Like I mentioned, we do have a sock program in development. We've been testing Nuyarn in socks. It's absolutely incredible. We will have the best sock that's ever been made, a merino wool sock that's ever been made out in the market later this year. I don't have exact dates yet. We'll be sharing that information with you as it gets a little bit closer to releasing that product, but they're going to be amazing. I think that covers all the questions, and I think we'll go into the winners. I just, again, want to thank Andy, Wynne, for coming out to see us.
Yes, thanks for having me. It's been great to be here.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I want to thank everybody that has taken the time to tune in and learn more about Nuyarn. I'm always honored that you guys will take some time out of your day to learn about what we're doing. I'm really excited about this product. I cannot wait to get it out into the market. And let's draw the names, and then we'll wrap things up. So the first winner, and you guys are going to have a choice of what weight you want to choose. So you can decide when customer service contacts you what you want as far as the product line. Mark Weston, you're the first winner. Mike Allermatt, second winner, and Chad Kucheraway, Kucheraway. I know I butchered it. I apologize. But congratulations, you're the third winner. And there it is. Wrapping up another great day. Andy?
Thank you so much, Jason.
Always my pleasure.
And thank you very much for everyone that's taken the time out of their day to experience firsthand this great technology and what we've had to say today. Thank you very much.
Can't wait. Well, stay tuned. We have, believe it or not, more coming later this year. Probably more coming sometime next month here on KUIU Live. So we'll keep you posted. And thanks again. Have a great day.